I am Megan. Welcome to today's live reading of The Forlorn Cowboy by Stacy-Deanne, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1, Clear Creek County, California, 1895. Christopher James busted through the double oak doors of the Locke mansion and down the wood steps, passing the fancy horse-drawn carriages from Clear Creek County's richest citizens. Christopher ripped off his bow tie just as he made it to his female horse, Dollface, and the rickety open carriage that wasn't anywhere near as fancy as the others. He patted Dollface on the head and jumped on into the carriage just as his father ran out screaming, "Christopher!" Fast James tottered toward the carriage as fast as he could for a man in his upper 60s, his ratty cowboy hat flopping on his head. "Get out that carriage, son. I mean it." "No, Papa, I'm not going back in there, so you might as well save yourself a trip." "Have you lost your mind?" Bass's bottom lip poked through his bushy gray beard. "All you have to do is play the part like you've been doing, son. Minnie Locke is head over heels in love with you, and that ain't changing. We're on our way." He slapped his dirty palms. "Just a little while longer, and you'll be married to one of the richest women in the country." "I don't care." Christopher yanked off his waistcoat and threw it in the back of the carriage. "Is this what you really want from me, Papa? Lying and scheming to get some broad's money?" "I want us to have the best. Finally, I'm sick of struggling. You done had it too good, boy. You don't know what it's like to be so poor you can't even guess when you're going to eat. When I was a youngin', our house didn't even have no roof. I've been slaving, working my fingers to the bone since I was 10 years old, so you didn't have to. Scraping and sacrificing because I wanted you to have a life better than I ever would." "Stop saying this is for me. This is for you." Christopher pointed at him. "I don't give a damn about the Locke money, and I don't want to marry Minnie." "Shh." Bass stomped his feet. "Look where we are." He spread out his arms. "Look, we in front of a mansion at a party with all the high society of Clear Creek County. These people normally wouldn't spit on us, but we's here now, inside the mansion, eating their fancy food, shooting the breeze with the richest of the rich. If you telling me that don't mean nothing to you, then you a damn fool, and I don't believe it, Chris. You want this just as much as I do." "I thought I could do this," Christopher panted, his muscular chest burning from adrenaline. "But I respect Minnie too much to do this to her." "I don't understand you. Most men in this town would kill themselves to be in your boots." Bass pointed to the house. "Minnie is a young, beautiful, very rich woman, and you can just let that go? Oh no, not as long as I'm breathing, you ain't. You ain't got to love her because she loves you, and that's what's important. You just got to ride with it, Christopher. And once you get to that preacher, everything will become clear." "No, I got to get out of here." Christopher grabbed the reins. "I can't even breathe around here." "Boy, you'll have so much money you can buy a breath if you play your cards right." Bass hit the carriage, causing Dollface to neigh. "I'm not letting you ruin your future or mine. Now get off this carriage and come back inside and stop embarrassing the James's name." "I'm embarrassing our name, Papa? You can go back in there and tap dance for the Locks money if you want to, but not me. Get in, or if not, find another way home." "I'm not going anywhere." Bass's hat wobbled as he shook his head. "You can't do this, Chris. You can't." "Oh, no?" Christopher commanded Dollface to go. "Watch me." "Whoa, pretty girl." Christopher pat Dollface as he left her in the grassy field and walked into the moonlight toward the lake. He broke leaves off shrubs as he passed. He didn't know what to do. All he knew was he couldn't go through with the scheme of marrying 23-year-old Minnie Locke for her money. Sure, she was beautiful, one of the most beautiful women he'd ever seen, and had a body under those regal dresses that could bring a man back from the dead. But none of that mattered if Christopher didn't love her. He stopped a few feet from the lake when he heard humming. Hell, who was here? He hadn't been to the lake in weeks, but he usually had the place to himself when he came to think. He walked closer and peeked from around the tree. First thing that popped into his mind when he saw her was sex. He hated that, but he was a man, and that's what he thought of. She sat on the grass all prim and ladylike in her long dark green walking skirt and lacy long sleeve button-down blouse. The moonlight shined onto the lake, and in return the blue and white waves sparkled across her light brown face. She looked like a brown porcelain doll with her clothes all perfect and her raven black hair swept up in an elegant updo. Pearl earrings shining, and he wondered pearl earrings shining, and he wondered where a colored girl got such trinkets. Are you just gonna stand there watching me, sir? She asked. Or are you gonna be a gentleman and introduce yourself? He cleared his throat. You see me? Yep. She wriggled her feet in her black leather boots. You got a name or not? Christopher stepped out, feeling himself blush all over. My name is For some reason, he didn't want to give her his real name. Perhaps it was fear of how he'd be looked at conversing with a colored girl in this fashion, but he decided on giving a fake name instead. My name's Cowboy. She turned her swan-like neck, and he almost fell to his knees, just looking into her sensual eyes. He recognized her immediately. You're Greta Fay Willis. He swaggered toward her, playing with a leaf. The Negro activist. You mean public enemy number one in Clear Creek County. She turned up her cute little pouty lips. You want to run now? Heck no. He plopped down in the grass so fast he bruised his backside. Why would I? Because I'm trouble. Two long ringlet curls bounced on both sides of her face. The town's higher-ups are trying to put the squeeze on me to shut me up, but they can't stop me. I'm the Harriet Tubman of Clear Creek County. Christopher snickered, sitting with his knees up. He couldn't ignore how she smelled like raisin bread pudding, and he loved raisin bread pudding. What do you mean the higher-ups are out to get you? I'm teaching Negroes around here they deserve better, and the folks in charge don't like that, so they resort to threatening and throwing unkind looks my way at every turn. They can't be threatening you. That's against the law. He poked her arm. You should tell Sheriff Snow. Sheriff Snow? She scoffed. Yeah, he got his ideas about Negroes too. What does he care? Yeah, he got his thoughts and they ain't all right, but he's a fair man. Can't nobody say he ain't fair. I don't care about myself. She crossed her legs at the ankles and he tried his best to get a peek at her stockings. It's my family I worry about. My parents and my two older brothers. All they do is go to work and love each other. They don't mess with nobody, but they get threats too. She exhaled. If something happened to them, it would be all my fault, and I can't live with that. Ain't fair you putting that all on your shoulders. He rubbed against her. Between you and me, I love what you do. She looked at him. Yeah, you're so strong, Greta Fay. Shoot, there's men around here who'd be afraid to stand up and fight for anything. And look at you. Got damn near the whole county against you, and they don't want nothing to change, but you're still fighting. She batted her thick lashes. Your hair is so yellow. He touched it, caught off guard. He didn't know if she meant that as a compliment or what. Do you like yellow hair? It's just strange. She squinted. You see women with yellow hair all the time, but not men. Why is that? I don't know. He shrugged. Everyone in my family has yellow hair. My mama, she dead, but she had yellow hair. My daddy had it too, but it's all silver now. He broke off a blade of grass. My kids, I reckon they'll have yellow hair too. When I have some, I mean. Maybe, she leaned up. Maybe not. Depends on the woman you have them with. He raised an eyebrow. Is that an offer, Miss Greta Fay? She laughed. No. He grinned. But you never know who you'll fall in love with. Don't laugh, but I'm jealous of you. Christopher looked out into the lake. You standing up against the whole town, and I can't even stand up against my father. What do you need to do? I'm 32 and my daddy still tries to run my life. Then I try to tell him not to, and I feel guilty because of all he done for me. Can I ask you a question? She shrugged a shoulder. Sure. If you could do something that would give you and your father a better life, but it involved lying and scheming, would you do it? No. You didn't even think about it. I don't have to because I wouldn't do it. If you got to lie and scheme, then it's not worth it. It's not real. Yeah, but what if your father has worked like a dog his whole life so you didn't have to? Wouldn't you not want him to struggle? Look, my daddy is a blacksmith, so he got his own business. And that man struggled from the bottom up because you know as well as me, a lot of white people ain't going to no Negro blacksmith. But he survived, and that business has put food on the table since I was a little girl. I don't know about your daddy, but mine is full of pride, and he never wanted me to lie or sell out my principles for him, no matter how much he was struggling. If your daddy really loves you, Cal, he won't ask you to do it either. That's not fair. My daddy loves me. It's just he's had a hard life. He ain't had no life hard as my daddy because he's white. She rolled her eyes. And so white. Life ain't supposed to be easy unless you a Locke or a Bernstein. He grinned. Ain't that the truth? So what do you do when you ain't fighting for Negroes? Do you have a boyfriend? No. She dropped eye contact. That ain't nothing I'm worried about right now. What ashamed. He touched her back, snickering. Is it a chance I could warm you up on that? My daddy would kill me if I dated a white man. Christopher narrowed his eyes as he brought his lips in for a kiss. Thank God I ain't interested in your daddy. She smiled, then jerked forward. Shoot, what time is it? She got out her pocket watch. I gotta go. My parents will be steaming if I don't get back before 9. She jumped to her feet. It was nice to meet you, Mr. Calray. I'll see you. When? He stood and grabbed her arm before she could run off. When can I see you again? I'll be back here tomorrow evening. Is that good with you? Yeah. He stroked her hand, his member hardening. That's real good. She pulled her hand free. Bye, she ran off waving. Hey, you know our names rhyme, don't you? Christopher yelled. Cal Ray and Greta Fay. Sounds like someone's trying to tell us something. Bye now. She disappeared into the woods. In a daze, Christopher plopped back down on his ass, thinking about the beauty he almost kissed. I'll kiss you next time, Greta Fay. Just you watch.